Hey, 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 what's going on, party people? It's Leona Carter, and listen, I'm back for another phenomenal episode on She Builds Intimacy with Her Husband podcast. And so today I have a rock star, and her name is Lilli. And so we're so glad to have you. So, Lilli, introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Hey, thanks for having me. My name is Lilli Badcock. I am a professional singer, vocal coach turned transformational confidence and spiritual purpose coach. It's a big mouthful, and I could probably add about 20 things to that list as well. But that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for just coming on today. So what made you in your business? So you were a singer. So what made you change to the transformational coach and particularly people's purpose?
Oh, it's been a journey, but the short version is after having my second son, I was diagnosed with anxiety. I completely lost my voice for 3 weeks, like speaking voice, singing voice, the lot. Had to continue teaching. And for the first time ever, was really aware of this voice in my head that was telling me, you shouldn't be doing this. You can't do this. Like, who are you to teach these people to sing when you can't even speak? That kind of thing. And it was my journey, initially my journey through navigating anxiety that then led me onto purpose, because I completely lost faith. There was a lot of stuff going on at the time around that. And I still say that I don't know whether the voice loss caused the anxiety or if the anxiety caused the voice loss, but I lost all faith. And then it was a journey back to myself. And I just brought all of my lessons with me. And it was while I was teaching one day, because I had to keep teaching. And I was teaching someone one day and I was telling them they were having trouble hitting a high note. And the advice I gave them, this voice in my head was like, this is a life lesson too. This isn't just about singing. And for the first time, I started to make that correlation between lessons I was teaching for the voice and lessons that we need in life. And that was the start of it.
Wow, that is amazing. Listen, that is amazing. And you need to do this because I can sing a little bit, I can hold a tune. And so I love that parallel to your singing and then, kind of how you're operating your purpose in life. So how did you know that, oh my God, yes, this is it? What did a client really help you make that transition? Or how did you know, like, okay, like you heard it, you implement it and like, oh yeah, we on to something now.
Yeah, you know what? It was an epiphany. It really was. I remember I was poorly. I think I had the flu. It was one of those things where your mind is still going, but your body's not playing. So I was just sat in a chair feeling really ill and sorry for myself. And I fell down a rabbit hole on the internet and started reading about how you can rewire, the neural pathways in your brain and really set yourself up for success. And it sent me down this path. And then there was a journal prompt in there that said, if you had all the time and all the money in the world, what could you still not go a day without doing? And I'd been feeling for a while like a square peg in a round hole when it came to vocal coaching. I never felt confident as a vocal coach, which made no sense because I've done all the courses. I've trained with some of the best vocal coaches in the world. And yet in a room of vocal coaches, I always felt inadequate. And answering that question, I realized that out of all of my clients, it was the ones who were coming in convinced that they couldn't do it and who left knowing that they could. And I remember the penny dropped and I turned to my husband and I went, oh my God, I'm not a singing coach. I'm a confidence coach. Singing is just my tool. And it was this big, ba-ba. And, unfortunately in that moment, I was like, yes, I've had my epiphany. That's it now. I'm going to be a millionaire. It's all going to be really easy. Nah.
There was some work on that journey, huh?
Geez, definitely some work. But it really did solidify though. And I teach a lot about confidence. And I think in the early days, I was teaching confidence as something that you could learn to do. Whereas now, because it's so ingrained in your spiritual path and your purpose, confidence is just something you are when you know who you are, because it's just rooted in you, and there's no question. So it's definitely been a journey,
Oh,
but yeah, that was it.
listen, you said I teach people confidence through the path of singing. Lilli, that is amazing, because it's amazing, because, people often ask me, well, how are you so confident? How do you teach confidence? And I actually wrote an article about it, right? But it's about leading with what you're confident in and seeking to learn the other. I call it leading with the 10%, seeking to learn the 90%.
Mm.
And so you don't have to be know it all in everything. You don't have to know everything to be confident, but it's about, I can sing, I can sing, I can hold a tune. And having that confidence, it spills over into the other things that you do. That is amazing. That's amazing. Now, you mentioned your husband. So how do you balance? So we both got a business and children and, husband, marriage, all the things. What do you do to stay sane in the chaotic world?
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I will never claim to be sane. In fact, I lead with the fact that I'm not. I've just given up trying to be sane, and actually people that are led to me are also not sane. So I think, I'm waving the flag over here for being completely off my trolley most of the time. I think where me and my husband are concerned, and, we've been married 12 years this year. First and foremost, that man is my soulmate. And I mean, our story is phenomenal. It should be a film or a book or something. I knew very early on that he was important. I didn't know why. I just knew that he was. And he's a singer too. And do you know what? I think it's the music that glues us together, because we could have had the most blazing row, or we could have the biggest disagreement. But then he'll put on a song and start singing, and I will go and sing with him, and it heals us. It's healing. And it's literally, I think if we didn't have that, I don't think we'd have lasted as long as we have, really.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's the glue that kind of keeps you together. I love that. I love it. I mean, music is powerful already. It just really is powerful. And then that's amazing. And so, so let me ask, we just kind of, I wouldn't say finished a pandemic. We're still kind of in it, and you're in a different country. So how is the pandemic, how is it going for you guys?
Yeah, so it's been tough for a lot of people. I'm going to say I've been extremely blessed, because my family are happy, they're healthy, and I touch with their. We are slowly climbing out now. Things are starting to open back up. The choir that I've run for almost 15 years, which is currently online, we are hoping might be back in July. We actually have a couple of tentative gig bookings, and lots of nervous brides have started messaging me going, can we have a flash mob? And I'm like, I don't know, but let's just say yes. And so yeah, I would say we're on the way out now. We can definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel, thank God.
And are you in the UK, or where exactly are you at?
Yeah, I'm in the UK. I live 10 minutes from Stonehenge. I always think is the easiest thing to tell people, because they've usually heard of that.
Got it. That's amazing. And so, so who is your ideal client? Who, when you speak, they listen? Who is that for you?
This is such a great question, and it's something I've pondered for years, because I'm definitely a born people pleaser, and I just want to help everybody. But do you know what? It's the women, the people who get me really excited are women and men, though, who will tell me that they used to love singing and they haven't done it for a while. It's the mum that stopped singing because she had her kids. It's the guy that stopped singing when his band broke up and he never went back to it. And a lot of those people it's the people that have that void. And I definitely work with people that have never sung, but the ones that get me really excited are the ones who used to, even if it was when they were 7 years old at school, and the ones who just haven't done it since, and who are saying it's too late now. or I had my chance, I missed it, or my voice is broken now. Anything like that just gets me really excited because I know it's not true. Even people that tell me they're tone deaf gets me really excited. I've never yet met anyone who was, it's not a thing. It is a thing, but it's such a rare thing. I've never met anyone who was truly tone deaf. And so, yeah, I mean, I work specifically with female entrepreneurs only because I think that they're the ones who spiritually have been led to share their heart. They're the ones who want to make an impact. And so many of them are hiding. So many of them are riddled with anxiety, drowning under the stress, the overwhelm, don't know how to articulate what it is that they do. And in a lot of cases, they have magic about them. And this was me. I always talk about my human and my spiritual self. My spirit dropped into a human who happens to be able to sing. So singing is how I talk to the humans, but my magic is something deeper than that. And so the people I work with also have magic. So they might be copywriters or website, makers. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean? And
yeah.
Then I'm like, but what's that magic? And they're like, well, yeah, it's like this secret thing that they, don't even tell people about. And it's my job to now's the time to tell people. It's time to come out of the woo closet, as I say, like own up to what you can do because the world needs us right now.
Man, that is listen, you just did a mic drop. That was
I did, and I actually dropped one as well.
That is amazing. Boy, Lilli, that is so amazing because there's something that, man, that is so good. You said the people who haven't sung in a long time, that makes your baby leap. Like, wait a minute, hold on, wait, that because there's a personality or a characteristic or a longing connected to that type of person that they know they have this this voice, this way to express themselves, but they're kind of hiding behind something else. So what it sounds like is, I haven't done it in a long time. I love that because that's such a unique target audience. Congratulations for knowing how to articulate that, girl, because that, we're not called to everybody. And, a few years ago when I used to teach speakers how to book speaking engagements, the only way you know what speaking engagements you need to book is you need to know who that ideal audience is. You can't just speak any and everywhere. You need to know who that is. And so that's amazing. That is so amazing. So what would you say to somebody who is working on their elevator pitch, right? They're working on that. Man, that was good. Mine don't sound as good as hers, but it's not going to because it's not wired for, that's hers and I have mine. So how do you tell people to get to that point? Because I get it took years. Me too. I kept fine tuning. And when I finally got it, I would just try it out. People say, oh, you do. Ooh, you do what? Oh, I like that. And when I kept hearing that, and I was like, yes, I got it. But it took forever to get it. So how do you help people to get it like that?
Do you know what? I love this question because I'm going to come back at you with a vocal coach thing. So something I teach in singing all the time is you have to be okay with it sounding a bit rubbish. Like you have to be okay with it being a bit rubbish. And I think it's the same with anything in business, whether that's your elevator pitch or defining your ICA. If you're waiting for it to be right, you're never going to get off the starting block, and you're never going to do that. And I have been stuck on the virtual starters block. I still feel like I'm there some days. It's so easy to be in that mindset of, oh, I'm just at the start or I'm just figuring this out. And the trouble is, when we're in that place, we often get led to lots of different things. And so we're constantly starting again. So I would just, I've been working hard on my ICA for years. And in the most recent weeks with my current coach, one thing she got me to do that was really helpful was she challenged me to write 100 sentences about my ideal client. Because I was sat here going, well, I don't know who that is. The minute my pen hit the paper, and I'm a journaler, right? I journal and I channel when I write. So something took over, and I actually wrote 115 sentences in a really short space of time, because guess what? She's me. You know, that it's all elements of me, and that ICA is going to continue to evolve. And there are actually multiple ICAs, because I'm multi-passionate, I'm creative as hell, and I will not be boxed in. So like the minute I say something, I'm like, oh, but that's not it, because I can also do this and I can also do that. But, you know, singing is the gift we've been given to heal ourselves. I truly believe that. And there's a collective belief in a lot of people that because they don't do it well, or because they don't do it in tune, that somehow it's not for them. And I believe that I'm here to say, no, it's for you, because, you know, we're not all going to be Mariah Carey. We don't all want to be, but everybody who loves music and who loves singing knows the power of belting out a power ballad in their car when they're feeling those emotions, right? And so, and besides which, music speaks to us, it channels messages to us, that even the music you choose to sing is your soul trying to speak. And that's what I do, like for whoever wants it, really. But
that's amazing. And just so people know, ICA is your ideal client avatar. And so that's a fancy way to say your target audience, right? Your target audience. 115 cities. Ooh, that is good. And so what I hear is that you're in alignment with your assignment.
I love that. Yes.
And that's why it was, once your pen hit the paper, because it was you, right? That's amazing. And that's why you're going to be so powerful in what you do, because you have the sound, you know the sound of your audience, you know the sound of your client, you know. And same with me. I hear, you know how you hear those keywords that, well, I used to sing. Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. I heard somebody say, you know, it speaks to you. That's amazing. That's amazing. And so you have this great husband that supports you along the way. That's amazing. So, you know, in marriage, what is one tip you would recommend to a couple that's like, well, I want to start my business, but I don't know if my husband's going to support me, or I don't know how to ask for support, or what that looks like? What is one tip you would tell to another wife that wants to be where we are in having that support from her husband?
It's, I'm tuning in here, and the word I'm getting is faith. And it's absolute faith in your mission, because a bit like I said about the confidence, once you know your mission, you can't not do it. You just can't. And my husband, bless him, he doesn't think the way I do. He's not spiritual like me. He thinks I'm off my nut most of the time. And, you know, I just feel bad for him. It's like he's clinging on by his fingernails, just going, what are we doing now? And, you know, I'm constantly just saying, like, you need to trust me. You need to trust me. And that's only possible, though, when I trusted me, because every time I've second guessed myself, that leaves the door open. And I mean, this is a great tip for relationships anyway. Be the person you want to be married to. Be the example. You know, I mean, I could get into a whole rant about expectations. We live in a world now of Instagram and people going, oh, you can meet the perfect person and your life will be brilliant. Like the perfect partner in my mind isn't something that's linear and perfect and happy and joyful all the time. It's the person who can pick you up when you're in the pit, right? It's the relationship that keeps going when everything's fallen down, and when nothing feels right, and when nothing feels perfect. And I've been in so many times frustration where my husband hasn't been who I've needed him to be. And it was a mirror. And until I could take that responsibility for myself and be like, how do I need to step up then? If I'm seeing something in him that I want to change, then I'm doing that too. I can't control him, but I can control me. And it's deep work, and it's not for the faint of heart, but that would be my tip.
You said it. Listen, it is not for the faint at heart. You know, my mother-in-law used to always say, you know, rest in peace. She used to always say, okay, so do you guys have a plan? Because you can't just live on love. You can't pay bill on love. Do you guys have a plan? You know, and so, you know, in the early stages, you're just like, oh, he loves me. But then there's work. You have to work to maintain, just like your business. There's so many parallels to marriage, building a business and building a marriage.
Yeah.
I say building your business and building your bedroom. They both take work, right? And so Lilli, thank you so much. This has been like, I'm gonna watch this episode again. What she say again? This was so good. I absolutely loved having you as a guest, dropping some gems all day. So now how can how can people connect with you and learn more about, because they are the ones that haven't sung in a while and they're like, oh, I need to call Lilli. So where can they contact you at?
So I'm on Instagram at Lilli Badcock, and I'm also on Facebook. And you can also go to my website, lillibadcock.com.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So ladies and gentlemen, we just heard from Lilli Badcock. She has dropped some, wisdom nuggets for sure. So make sure you connect with her. So thank you so much for joining us today on another podcast episode of She Builds Intimacy with Her Husband. You can learn more about me at www.leonacarter.club and continue building intimacy with your husband. Bye for now.